They're gonna show clips of before the wine and then clips after the wine.
I'm John Hosking, Peloton instructor.
The female friendship, there's nothing more powerful.
I just remember seeing my life.
Yeah, life. Ever wondered what we really talk about when the cameras stop rolling?
And somehow I'm single. God! America!
No script, no filters.
So we are crying today.
So join me and the girls and take your seat at the next table.
Cheers. Nice.
Cheers. What a great girls' night.
Cul-de-sac. Girls,
Yes.
I feel, do you want to hold hands quickly?
We always do.
Do you want to hold hands quickly?
Yes.
Thanks so much for being here.
Oh my God.
This is really special. This is really special. How about our group chat, by the way? How about our group chat, by the way?
Group chat. What happened?
What's our group chat called?
Dream girl.
Dream girl.
Dream girl. Yeah. Exactly. That's what I thought. Yeah.
I'm Beyonce.
I was just. I'm not Jamie Foxx. So yeah, I'm not Jamie Foxx.
Wait, so I have to be Jamie Foxx?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Well, there's another one.
There's another
Jamie
one.
Foxx.
Right,
No,
and
I'm not
that's it.
Jamie
And
Foxx.
she's the other one. And Katie's the other one. Katie's the other one.
Yeah, you don't want to be the other one.
I could be the other one.
Beyonce got snapped up quickly. Positive energy to one side. Just make sure that this conversation doesn't get too lit.
Oh, what? Huh? Why?
Oh my God.
I just wanted to bring up a video that
No! I know you are not going there. We just got here.
that may or may not be circulating. Yeah,
Okay.
sure. I've always thought, you know,
Katie,
stick-
I thought what happened to Turks stays in Turks.
put the fire in the group chat, but careful of the fire.
So, John, it was not my fault. So there was a fire show,
Yeah.
and we were all watching it, and then he asked for volunteers.
Yeah.
Tunde was one.
Of course.
A couple other friends, and then I volunteered. It's 4 of us, right? 4 of us.
4 of you.
And we were given this stick, and I was like, oh wow, they're probably gonna like this. Cool.
This is going to be lit.
This is gonna be lit. Great. And then they're like, put it together, and so I lean over because it is gonna be fire eventually, and I lean over, and then everyone's like, get closer, Kirsten. Stop being such a. I won't say that word.
Yeah.
And then the guy puts the, what is it? Gasoline?
Probably alcohol.
And so then he puts it in his mouth, and then it, fire, and everybody else is fine, but we're on the ocean, like on the beach, and so the wind blows, and so it was like, woof. I just remember seeing my life flash before my eyes.
Light.
Kirsten, get closer. Kirsten, get in there.
Her hair
I
is
am no longer.
It was kind of the best moment of the trip.
But you survived.
I survived, thank
and
God.
I want to thank you all for being here. 'Cause this is so
this is an
lovely
honor.
for us to be together like this. Girls, you look magnificent as well. So thank you for
you.
turning up. Whilst I've been in town, we haven't trained together, but we've trained
We've
together.
been working
Let me tell you,
out.
this was a
Thanks for the invite.
humbling experience. Us
Thanks
three
for the
together.
invite.
Yeah.
And I was in the middle of you two, and
live
there
in
was a
Jersey.
lot of. I felt very good at in-house and ex-house.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
you
it was
did.
actually incredible.
I mean, we've worked out with quite a few of our male counterparts.
Yeah.
And I hate to say this on camera, but you absolutely 100% did, you kept up with us the most.
Yes. I would say
most.
that. Of the male count.
I won't name who, the male. I won't name who's come, but you did best.
I hit a wall. At like 45 minutes, I hit a wall.
You did?
You did.
I hit a wall at 45 minutes.
Wow,
What were you thinking in your head?
There was one moment actually at 45 minutes where I looked at you and I kind of went, and you looked back at me and you're like, yeah.
John.
Yeah.
Stay in it.
Going like,
You got this, John.
yeah.
Stay in it.
But listen, today I'm inspired by all 3 of you. You are magnificent, confident, wonderful, unique women. And I think I want the focus of today's conversation to be kind of pulling the curtain back. What barriers do you feel like you've broken through uniquely as women that probably I wouldn't have had to break through as a man? I think something that comes up quite often when we talk about kind of strength or when we talk about power or confidence is people want to know and I think about this a lot, whether there's been a breakthrough moment that you're really aware of, that you think to yourself, that was the moment when I had kind of a realization of my confidence, of my strength. Is there anything that you can think of off the top of your head where you think to yourself, now I'm stepping into me. This is me time right now, where like it's all go from here. Is there like a realization moment?
There was for me, and I told Tunde this, it was when I turned 40. I think there's something that happens when you turn 40 where you are just a different version of yourself. Like the things that used to scare you before no longer do. The things you used to worry about before no longer do. You've been through so much that you're like, anything else that comes my way, I'm good regardless. And so I carry a confidence with myself now that I definitely didn't have before. And I see that in work, and I see that in life, and I see that in relationships, and I see that in friendships. And if it doesn't make me happier, healthier, or wealthier, it's a no. And you start to move and operate like that. And so there was something that happened when I turned 40 that has been game changer for me. And I hope that everyone can be excited. Like everyone's like, oh, we're getting older. I don't want to get older. And it's like, no, it only gets better.
You absolutely shifted that for me, my mindset. When I saw you turn 40, and I think that's where also some of your strength is that's the inspiration. Like I saw you turn 40 and I was like, wait, fabulous. And then you, and then it's fabulous. So it really is inspiring to be around you and to just to feel you step into that power, because I felt that shift totally.
Yeah, it was wild. It was like almost like a light switch. And do I have everything that I want? No, but everything that's happening for me right now, I'm grateful for.
Yeah.
And I've been through a lot, and I'm here, and I'm thriving, and I'm blessed, and and if things aren't making me happier, then it's a no. You know?
I really love the idea of not worrying as much.
No.
I'm looking forward to a period in my life potentially where I don't worry as much. I'm a big worrier.
Are you?
Are you a big worrier as well?
Oh, totally. I'm an overthinker.
Likewise.
What do you worry about?
I think that there's no limit to it, really. I can find anything to worry about, really. I don't know who I get it from. I know who I get it from. I think I get it from my mum. But I just worry about things. And I think if you're curious enough and you sort of you care enough and you think about all these different things, it's difficult to then find the line where you go like, these things are completely out of my control. Like I can't control those things. I need to just let go of them and care less a little bit about certain things. But in actual fact, I think it's a motion of like, oh my goodness, I have to be in control of all of these factors, and it's just, it can be suffocating at times. So I'm looking forward to a moment in my life where I don't worry so much. That would be lovely. What a liberation.
There's peace there.
Yeah.
And your power is there. Like, then you really step into who you're meant to be.
Did you start to feel that? That was some of that switch too.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not like things don't worry me, but I think what comes with experience and living life is I can't control all that. So why am I worrying about it? I can't control how a person's gonna operate. Even in dating, like I can't control how this person's gonna show up, but what I can find is joy in this moment because I'm happy.
Right.
I don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring, or the next day, or the next day, but right today, I can find joy there, you know, and I can do the things that I can control today.
You can control how you react.
Correct.
Or how you process.
Yeah.
And I'm happy right now.
You're not worried?
You're not worried?
I'm not worried right
Are you
now.
worried? Don't be worried.
Not right now.
Why are you
Maybe
worried?
you should be.
You need to get in that cul-de-sac.
We're living in the present right now. This is lovely.
Yeah, it
How
is.
about you, Casey? One moment you can think of? Can you think of a moment where you're like, this is the breakthrough, this is it?
I don't think there was one moment for me. It's kind of a culmination of lots of little moments, but it's always centered around like a jump, a leap, a risk that I took, like leaving tech, leaving my family, moving to New York, getting on the road, doing something different. I mean, we've talked a lot about being on the road, not coming back from, a row background, you being on the tread, not necessarily, teaching running prior to.
Hated running.
Right. So that was all scary. All those things were scary, like leaving my tech job or moving and leaving my family, moving to New York, all scary. That's always the moment that starts to build my confidence. And what's good, and I think maybe this is what you guys are referencing as you age, is each moment, now the fear doesn't hold me back. It kind of tells me, oh, a change is coming. Ooh, you're gonna grow from this. It's okay, it's okay. That's the last time you did this, something great happened from it. The last time you took that leap of faith, the last time you leaned into the fear, the unknown, something really beautiful came out of it. So for me, it's more of this accumulation of confidence that's building as I take greater risks or as I step a little more out of my comfort zone.
I feel exactly the same way. And
Yeah.
I feel like that always makes me think about the power of hindsight when I've made either quick decisions or risks or gambles or just made huge moments where I feel like I've been courageous. I might not have thought about them too much at the time, but then when in hindsight I look back and go, oh my goodness, no, that was massive.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Yeah.
And then that decision I made there, I wouldn't have made 4 years previous or 5 years previous or 6 years previous. So that gives you faith that everything's happening in the right moment, in the right time for you. That's a great way of looking at things. I'll couple it with a little bit of worrying, but ultimately, like, hindsight is great. So you've been able to kind of look back at that and be like, wow, moving to New York felt big at the time, but now it feels huge.
Well, it's funny you say that, and I looked at you because I gave you this, but I have a 5-year journal where you write 1 line a day for 5 years. So I literally, when that day comes up, I look back where I wrote, hardest day of my life, like leaving my family. I cried nonstop. And now I look back at it and I'm like, girl, you saw your family last week. You flew back to California. And like now look at the family the chosen family that I've surrounded myself with, or how much I've grown in New York being away from my family. So I always recommend, like, write it down. You think, like, y'all are going in my journal tonight, you know, like, and then 3 years from now, I'll look back at it and be like, remember when we sat down?
Do you remember when I thought that was a hard day?
Yes, exactly. It is that hindsight.
That's true.
Sometimes, like, the biggest worries, like, our biggest worries are the best things that we ever did for ourselves.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Blessing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Tunde, how about yourself? One moment or an accumulation of moments?
Yes. It was June 3rd of 2020. I just taught my first Speak Up ride. This was just after George Floyd had been murdered. It was like the rise of Black Lives Matter movement. We were in the middle of a pandemic. The world, like New York City, felt like it was shut down. Like it felt like an apocalypse. World was coming to an end. You could have laid in the middle of the street and you'd be fine. Like there was no cars, there were no birds.
The birds had gone.
The birds had gone. It was that dark. And so again, it was like in the middle of also just like this racial turmoil, divide. So I was watching like videos and I remember thinking to myself like, my nephew should be able to go for a run outside and not fear for his life. I shouldn't have to tell him, hey, don't do that, that's a bad idea. Just going for a run. And so I felt like the least I could do is, I just put up this post online and I was just talking about the hate. And if I'd known that the video was gonna get 5 million plus views, I would put my eyebrows on.
Those are the best videos, though.
Those are the best videos.
Listen. In that moment, I remember saying yes to so many things, and I think it was like something inside of me. It was a being inside of me that was saying things and knowing the words to say without me thinking or planning what I would say.
Sure.
And so I go to teach this ride. 22,000 people took the ride live. And I remember looking down at the beginning of the class and seeing that leaderboard. So many people coming together as one. As the ride went on, I'm gonna rewind actually and say, I didn't smile, I didn't do my normal, this is Tunde intro. As the ride went on and I got more and more real about my experience, my family's experience, I had interviewed many of my Black colleagues and I talked about their experience. I remember thinking to myself towards the middle of the ride, if there are 6,000 people still here, then awesome. Like, I believed that what I was said was coming from love, and what if it was coming from love, it couldn't be wrong. And I remember looking down halfway through the ride, and every single soul was still on that leaderboard. And so I unclipped from the bike, and I think it's also important to say that I'd only been working for Peloton for 8 months. I was so not the Tunde in class that I am now. So when I didn't get the job the first time around at Peloton, I felt like maybe I was too Black. maybe my hair was too in braids. I remember when I first started, I took my braids out. I played music that even I didn't listen to. I just felt like I was too not what was already here. And so I was trying to show a different side of myself. And so this was the first time that I'd really stepped into my being. And so I unclipped from the bike, mind you again, this is quarantine. Everyone's wearing masks. There's maybe 3 people in the entire building.
Yeah.
Jess Sims and I had lived in the same building at the time, which was very close to the studio. I walk outside of the studio and Jess is standing there with her dog. She has her phone in her hand. And she shows me a quick 30-second recording that she had taken from the class. I'm watching the video and I fall to my knees and I start crying. I don't even remember saying the words that I was watching. And she looked at me and she said, "This is you now." She said, "Now that you've shown who you are, you cannot go back." Within that same moment, I had many people come up to me and share their experience or maybe something that connected with them on the ride. I remember one man specifically said to me, "Tunde, I did not take that ride. I did not want to take that ride, but my wife made me watch that ride." I've always found the term Black Lives Matter incredibly offensive. But after watching that class, I see you, I stand with you, Black Lives Matter. Now, your question is, like, was there this moment that you, like, saw your confidence or your strength, that you saw? Yes, and it's a continuation. Like, there's no one moment, because that's the first moment that I can really pinpoint within maybe the last 10 years. But I feel like maybe that was really the first point of the becoming, because I feel like I am still becoming. I think that ride gave me the confidence to write my book. After that, I became the first Nike athlete that was ever an instructor or trainer to wear that title. I think that we're all always becoming. And I think that that's what's so unique about all of us as women and as friends, is that we are all in this, like, new version and new era of ourselves. We're all on this journey and we're all at different phases within our journey. And I think that what keeps us connected and the reason that we work is because I think that we are 3 women who refuse to settle. Like, I love surrounding myself with women who I see doing stuff, because then it makes me want to do stuff. Like, I think that I love putting myself in the chaos of not settling. I think I love discovering who or what I'm going to become next.
When all of these things are developing for you, you've all touched on the fact that it's a process, and there's a number of different things that allow you to really feel yourself and come into your own and build that confidence. Have you had a realization of an image, a persona that you've built that has then become a product per se in itself, a brand? And then have you then had to think to yourself, right, this needs management. Now I need to take control of managing this as a product, myself, my image. Because before, sometimes I felt, for me, from my own perspective, for example, you just go, I'm gonna say yes to everything, I'm gonna do as much as I can, I'm gonna work as hard as I can, and everything's gonna sort itself out, and I'm gonna maximize all the potential that I could possibly have. But then there has to be a stage where I go, no, this needs strategy. I need to start thinking about how I'm applying myself and where I'm applying myself to. Would you agree? Or?
1000%.
I'm so curious to hear what you girls are gonna say, because I resonate with what you just said. And I feel like, no, not yet. I don't know if I should be feeling that, like I should be feeling a brand, but I really just try and show up as myself and just trust that it's gotten me this far, showing up 100% as myself and not thinking of myself as a brand. But I'm curious to know your answers, because I obviously look up to you too.
I think that whether you see yourself as a brand or not, there is a brand that's being created, a story, a persona that's being created by you. Whether around you, rather, there's a persona that's being created around you. Whether you are outwardly saying this is my brand, or the people that are talking about you, find your brand, or maybe even you look at the community of people that support you, love you, follow you, and their commonality, and then you realize maybe brand is the word that feels like, uncomfortable, but it's a brand.
And is it then difficult to separate the two? Do you ever feel that way? Your persona, your the professional brand and your identity, separating those two things?
I think for me, in my experience, the two things that we've already talked about kind of go hand in hand. The more you become more confident in who you are, and the more authentic you are as an individual, then the brand becomes who you are.
Takes care of itself.
And it takes care of itself. And the people that are meant to surround themselves or drawn to you, those are your people, because they're like, wow, I see a version of myself in her, or I relate to her in some way. But you have to get to a place of confidence and be okay being vulnerable and okay being like sharing, like, this is my stuff. And it takes a second, because we work with superheroes, like the woman across the table, and it's like, you know, when we first started, it was like, oh my gosh, I need to be like Jess or Tunde, and then you can kind of fall very easily into imposter syndrome, or like, why don't I look like this? Comparison is the thief of joy. It took a lot of trial and error. It took a lot of being like, you know what, I'm meant to be here, and I'm gonna do it my way. Right? Like, I'm never gonna be as fast as Bex Gentry, but I'm gonna run my way, you know? And, you know, I think we do a lot of also like wins on camera, but we also go through some really hard moments. You've gone through injury. I had to go through injury, not knowing whether I was going to be able to. You guys were there that day when I found out I had to have hip surgery, and I didn't know if I'd ever be able to run again. But this is the job that supports my two daughters. Like, we go through all of like life on camera. But the more that you are able to open up and share that, the brand starts to evolve and become itself. And I think that's the superpower. And that's the people that I think find the most success, is when you can really be who you are unapologetically. And it's like, of course she's doing that. Like, that makes so much sense.
I think that some of the most successful people, whether it's Peloton or not, like when you are yourself, your people know how to find you.
Totally.
I think that when you are playing, to your point, like if you started, I started, any of us started, I think that when you are playing a character, when conflict arises, you have to ask yourself, okay, well, how would this character show up? What would this character say? Then you start messing up the story. You don't remember the story you gave last week versus last month versus yesterday. And so the lines get muddied. Versus when you show up as yourself, you don't have to think about how you're gonna react or handle the situation. You just handle it.
Honestly, it sounds horrendous. I'm putting myself in the shoes of someone who would like sort of act as a character or something, and I think to myself, imagine if you had to keep guessing.
That's right. Keep that story up.
Kind of lying to yourself each time.
I think you're worried now. Now imagine how
worried you are.
And then
now you're worried about the fake version of you that's
I
now
would be so worried. I'm sat here worried about if I had drawn up a superficial version of myself that's now worrying about the future that he's drawn up. I don't know. I mean, I think something there that I wanted to touch on is what you said about injury. And I think to myself that I had, in my previous career, in fashion, in modelling, I think I'd lent into making sure that I never showed any air of vulnerability, any drop off in anything. If I got sick, I didn't tell anyone because I was worried about my agency would then think that I was sick and then hold me back from doing that. I think that I had to feel like I was drawing up this image of kind of, you know, elevation, and that like you couldn't possibly get injured because that would show some sort of weakness that would then stop someone from booking me from a certain job. And I drew this up in my mind. And then when I got injured whilst I was here with Peloton, there was no choice but to tell everyone what I was going through, and that this was something that I was struggling with, and to be open with it. And that was a big step for me, to just be like, team, there's something wrong with the ankle. What I didn't realise was the fact that everyone would then go, right, we're on board. We're on board for this journey. What have you got for us? Tell us how you're coming back. Tell us how you're getting better.
Oh my God,
we're
I had
here
the
with
same
you.
thing.
I had the same thing. I recovered doing walks and runs in this process as well. We see you. Keep going with your rehab. I then say, keep going with your rehab. And then people come say to me, like, I did my rehab because I saw that you did yours.
Wow.
And this whole kind of journey that we put together with being open and being vulnerable in that space, I found it incredible. Did you feel the same way with your injury? Did you feel like you were empowering others by being really vulnerable and open with yours?
Oh my gosh, yes. And it wasn't even just like the physical. Like, one thing I realized with my injury was like I had some like healing to do. In addition to the physical, I had emotional and mental stuff that I had to heal. And I think a better instructor, a better version of me and myself came out of the injury.
Yeah.
And you deal with that, share that. Like every time someone comes to me and says, I have to have surgery and I'm gonna be out for a certain time, the one thing I say is, you're gonna heal yourself, but be open to other things that you need to heal. And they're like, but I can't move. Good. Maybe you've been masking stuff in movement and you need to sit with some stuff. And that, I think, one, sharing that gives other people the opportunity to be like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I was just so focused here, I didn't realize that I needed to do that. Or, you know what, watching you come back from injury, you know, I've been dealing with hip pain for years and I was scared about the surgery. Now I'm like, okay, maybe I do it knowing that I can come back and I can run a half marathon and then I can run a full marathon. Like, wow, like they get inspired by hearing your story. And so that's why the more vulnerable I think you can be, that's our superpower.
Yeah.
100%.
Is relatability to not only our community, but the world at large.
With me, I thought to myself, wow, Jonathan, you've been taking...
Jonathan.
Yeah,
Jonathan.
I Jonathaned myself.
Yeah.
Jonathan,
And I went, Jonathan, you have been taking this movement and this running and this lifting and this work for granted. You have been taking it for granted. You must have been taking it for granted because of how disappointed you are now about the fact that you're impaired.
Wow.
And so then now when I come back, I've noticed myself being so much more present in the moments when I'm running, so much more emotional when I'm running. Like even a run that I had here just the other day, if one of my good friends hadn't been in the studio and I'd been reminded of that and sort of kicked myself out of it, I was in the run because I was like, I love to move like this now because I had a time when I couldn't move like this now. So then you just live in the moment a bit more and you're grounding it all in gratitude because you're like, thank goodness that moment is over where I couldn't do it. So yeah.
Why does it take the bottom to realize that you were already at the top? You were already there?
You're already there.
You were already
It's
there.
crazy.
Do you feel like how do you get on with celebrating wins? Are you good at celebrating your wins on a day-to-day basis, or would you kind of go, next thing, let's go?
That's interesting. I could be better. I could be better at celebrating my wins.
We should all answer these questions for each other is the way we should have done.
You could be better too.
Talk to me.
You could be better.
You could be better. I think you're the
I can't
best
how many
at
times
it.
I tell you, I'm like, Tunde, sit
Yes.
in this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think I told you that when we surprised you.
I move on fast.
You move on so
move
fast
on fast.
because you're doing amazing things.
Yeah.
And a
But I
million
need you
things.
to like sit in it because my gosh, life is hard. There are things where you're just hard. And I'm like, this is amazing. Don't let this moment pass.
Yeah.
Like people laughed at me when I ran the marathon and I was like, it's medal year.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear this medal. I wore it for a month.
Yes.
And I'm sure I saw eye rolls. I didn't care. Because you have no idea, the outside world has no idea how much I had to fight to get across that finish line. And I'm going to sit in this win.
I think you're the best at celebrating
You are very
your
good
win.
at
And
it,
it's a nice, I say that in that it also reminds me to celebrate or not speak down to myself or move too fast through it.
You are good at celebrating every day.
I do little ones.
Your
I put my
wins.
clothes away, I go, good job, kid.
Good job.
Yes.
I make my bed, good job.
Went to the gym, worked out.
We did it.
Finished a FaceTime call with me. You congratulate yourself.
Yeah.
But when you have a big moment,
I'm not there yet.
it's not even that you're not there yet. You downplayed the big moment. I'm like, babe, this is
not
great.
downplay it,
And you're like, it could have, There are a few times where you've said, I did good here. But I think for the most part, you are really good at being in the day.
In the day.
Because then the attention's on the day.
Yeah.
But when the attention's on the good thing that Katie did in the day, Katie flex.
I do.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I've been working on, though, is celebrating the small wins. Because like I said, not every day is sunshine and roses. And I think it's important throughout those days to find the wins.
Yeah.
Me getting my kids to school,
Come on.
fed, hair put together somewhat, teeth brushed, they have their homework done.
It's a win.
That is the biggest win. I don't know if you all understand. The exhale I do, the moment they get out of the car, I'm like,
I hear Tunde's laugh in the group chat and I hear your exhaling.
I
The group chat is out here. I was like, my dream girls, what are they up
like,
to?
that is a win. That is a win.
I'm going to go back and I'm going to find one word that I heard in the last 5 or so minutes that I'm like, we're going there. Sisterhood.
boy, you're gonna
You
make me
grew
cry.
up
Stop.
and you had two brothers.
I did.
I had two brothers as well.
Yeah.
I've never had a sister. And I'm not including myself in this sisterhood situation. But you're saying that when you moved here, you found sisterhood. But did you feel like you had female friends that you've made in your adult life that really helped you to define your strength?
Oh, so we are crying today.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm already crying. I'm getting teary-eyed.
Well, let me make it clear. I have amazing sisters throughout my life. I was blessed. One of the best decisions I ever made was going to an all-girls school. From 6 through 12, I went to an all-girls school, and that really, really taught me the power of female friendship, and we were taught and we believed women learning, women leading, always. So that was such a gift. And I just saw the school driving, it was right by my grandparents' house, and I would always go to my grandparents for pot stickers and mahjong, and I just saw, I said, Mom and Dad, I want to go there. And they said, really? Do you know that's an all-girls school? I go, yeah. I just want to be Katie. I don't want to be Brian's little sister or Kevin's little sister, because my brothers are brilliant. So growing up, all these teachers would be like, oh, you're Brian's sister, you're Kevin's sister, I love Kevin. And I remember thinking, I want to be Katie. And I really found myself. I found Katie and I found my sisters at that school. And then I just realized how important it is to have a sisterhood to lean on, to share the experience being a woman in this life. And what I found in New York were my big sisters. That's what I found. I think I've always had my sisters, my soul sisters, the ones who I'm working through life with, but in New York with these girls and all the women on the team, really, that's where I found my big sisters and the ones who are like, okay, you need the guidance here, the ones who are gonna really carry me through. Whereas before, I feel like I was fighting to always carry myself through almost, or like we're doing it together at the same time. So there's something really nice about like, oh, they got my back, they've been here, they're gonna help give me the roadmap or give me the advice that I need. But, oh, the female friendship, there's nothing more powerful. Or that fills my cup more. Oh my God, getting ready together.
This is the thing. I was just about to say.
nothing better.
On the day-to-day, what does it look like? You're getting ready together. You're chatting,
FaceTiming
every day. What is it? Training together as well? You know, what does it look like day to day then?
Well, first of all, I was looking with my low eyes because I really wanted you to cry and you didn't. I was like,
I'm trying to hold it together. I was very
I
close.
feel it coming out of this.
No,
already.
I'm trying to hold it together.
well, I'm also, John, I'm having this thought that maybe I've never even come to. You have 2 brothers, I have 3 brothers. You're an only child. Like, we are truly, you know,
We needed
like we needed it. And in the same way that Katie's blessed with sisters before moving to New York, same for me. I have sisters, like, that they got to actually meet my sisters at my birthday party in Turks. But on a day-to-day, it's all the things. It's like holding each other's hair up. It's, you know, Katie's sitting in my bathtub when there's another mirror that she could stand up. She's in my bathtub doing her makeup. It's me doing Kirsten's makeup for her 40th. It's Kirsten doing my hair for my 40th. It's me doing Katie's makeup for my wedding. It's Katie fixing me and telling me something's on my teeth on the regular. Like, there's, you know, in preparation for this, we were talking to some of the producers and they said, like, what does your friendship look like? What do you guys go to each other for? The shorter list would be, what do we not go to each other for?
I don't think anything's on that
there's
list.
anything that
I don't think there's anything.
there's no
on the table
conversation
like,
that we
I would've
wouldn't
given up.
have. There's no real dialogue that we wouldn't have with each other. I mean, we put each other in check. We also,
we do
you know,
check each
when we're
other.
going through our different things with men, and you know, whatever level that is, whether it's a husband, a boyfriend, a nobody,
Caesar.
a Caesar.
A good date, a bad date.
A good date, a bad date. You know, there's no conversation we won't have, even when that means telling each other we're wrong.
Yeah.
And so I think what's different about sisterhood and chosen sisterhood, and it's not to negate what a real sister is, I don't know that, but what I can speak about chosen family is we show up to each other and for each other every single day because we want to. Like, I choose to have a relationship with you. I choose to have a relationship. I choose to nourish it. I choose to protect it. I choose to show up real in it. I choose to challenge it. Like, I choose you. And I think what's better about a sisterhood than a relationship is I choose you and I don't take you for granted and I know that this will never end. I know it'll never end.
Really nice.
Yeah.
I would honestly say, the hand on my heart, I think this has been an incredible chapter for me in my life and my career being involved with Peloton, but one of the biggest points of success for me and of joy for me, and something that I feel so proud of is the incredible women that I work with. You know, it's been amazing, and as you know as well, you know, the vast majority of our bosses are women as well, and it's wonderful. And it's wonderful to feel that and to see that. And to be honest with you, I needn't ask you who the bosses are in the green room, because they're all women. Are they not here?
That is so
That was going to be a question of mine, but now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, they're all
I
women.
do.
It's
Don't get me
women.
wrong. We love you boys on the team.
The male
but
energy is quiet in the green room.
There is
Come on.
nothing better when you go into a green room and it's all the girls. Oh my God.
Listen, the
So
number of
excited.
tears that have been shed
And-
in that green room, and then the sister coming in and powdering it, and somebody going out and being on camera. Because I think people forget, like, life is happening.
happens.
You get a call or a text message 5 minutes before you say, "What's up, Peloton?"
That literally happened.
It happens. It happens. And the support, and to your point, when it's all girls in the room, and the way that we show up, and we being the collective female unit that is this team, it's like,
Including me, yeah.
including you and our cul-de-sac dream girl. It's good.
You and Andy.
Is Andy one of the dream girls?
Andy has to be in the cul-de-sac.
Absolutely.
He was 100% in the cul-de-sac.
Absolutely.
The way we go to Andy for
You guys, now
advice,
everyone's going to have to be in the cul-de-sac at this
everyone's-
point.
oh, yeah,
Because also, you know me, I can't
It's
leave
growing.
anyone
We're getting
out.
involved in real estate. So, if it's so wonderful, sisterhood, all getting on with each other, all love each other very much, all pushing each other forward and helping each other, why do we think it's so common for women to be pitted against each other, both in society, by society, and on social media, for example? Why is that the case? Because I don't believe that I don't ever feel like I'm pitted against other males. You know, I don't feel that way. But I think that's probably is the case for women. Why do we think that is?
Some women. No, women can be the worst at pitting ourselves against other women. I think that it's not true with men, because with men, there's more privilege and there's more opportunity. With women, oftentimes you're the only woman. And if there are other women, maybe the only dark-skinned woman, or maybe the only Asian woman, or maybe the only tall woman, or maybe the only thin woman, or maybe the only full-figured woman. And so as women, oftentimes you're so used to being the only one at the table that you fought so hard to get here that you're scared to open up space to other women. And I think that that's like bred so deeply in like the culture and society. And then you've got like this newer age, maybe, group of women. I don't want to say newer age, but now we're seeing women who come in and say, before I take a seat at the table, before I even sit down, I'm going to pull out a chair for her, and for her, and for her. And so I think there's a shift, but I mean, you don't see memes, or rather you don't see images on Instagram or on social media that say who wore it better and it's men. Like you see women together, and women are oftentimes, like you see a group of women and they're like, which one is prettier? Which one do you want to be? Versus just like looking out at a beautiful group of women and not comparing.
Right.
So I think that the reason that the culture is different, one, there's privilege that men have that women don't have. And then two, I think it's also like a confidence, or it's, you know, the world teaches women to look a certain way, be a certain way, and sound a certain way. And so when you see somebody who looks the way that you want to look or sound how you want to sound, the natural thing to do is to compare it and then to put her down so that you can put yourself up.
Yeah. I also think, you know, people have a scarcity mindset.
Right.
That, well, there's only this, so if I don't get that, then I'll never get it at all. Or, you know, if I don't put her down and highlight myself, then it won't happen for me. Instead of realizing what's for me will never, ever miss me.
Right.
Yeah.
So, girl, you better go out there and kill it. Let's all get on that page, right?
And
because it doesn't, with her winning doesn't take anything away from me.
There's enough to go around.
Correct.
There's so much.
Correct.
Because the opportunities that are for me aren't going to miss me. And I think women, for whatever reason, maybe a lot of the points that you made, some of them it's hard for them to see that. But I also think it comes with age, experience, confidence, owning your own space, seeing other women supporting each other. Like, feeling like, wait, I don't have to feel like I'm in competition.
And checking yourself, like your own biases when they pop up. It's society, it's what we're born into a little bit. So it's up to us to forge that path or make sure, you know, am I pulling that seat at the table as well? And what you said about scarcity mindset is so real. And all I could think is like, if I had this delicious chocolate cake in front of me, but none of you were in the room with me, I would enjoy it. But I would enjoy it so much more if it was like we're all eating it together.
We're talking about
We're enjoying it. We're in the moment together. Isn't that like, that is the
And then
joy
somebody
of life.
reminds you to put a scoop of ice cream because it'll make it
better.
Girls, what do we think about a different type of hydration?
Listen, I thought you'd never ask.
John, we were going to talk about you. How you have dinner with no food and no drink?
Listen.
Pour us out.
Stunning.
Pour us out.
Stunning.
Queen.
Look at us. Do you know what this does as well?
Wine o'clock.
It brings us onto a wonderful section of our chat.
Sections.
Yeah, it really does. It brings us on to my game for the day.
Okay.
We love a game,
I do get competitive.
It's very appropriate that we should have a drink whilst we play said game. The game is, okay, who would you text?
Oh.
And I'm going to give you
whole
situations, and you can chime in with whoever you would text when these incidents occur.
Only people at the table or our whole team?
But before we actually kick off with who would you text?
Oh, we got it. Cheers.
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 To a girls' night.
Cheers. What a great girls'
To
night.
the Dream Girls. To the Dream Girls cul-de-sac.
Yes. Thank goodness you brought that. You could drink, you can't cheers without having a sip. Thank you.
Room temperature.
See, things are more fun now. Gotta love room temperature wine.
So, girls,
Yes.
we are kicking off with something. It's a big one to start with. Okay.
Who would you
I'm
text?
so excited.
Do you want to hold hands or
Yeah,
do you
who
want
would
to
you
go straight?
text if was?
Do you want to hold hands? Okay.
Okay. Always.
Who
Frank?
would you text
It's rain.
if you needed to move a dead body?
In this room?
Oh.
In this room? Kirsten Ferguson, baby. Katie would ask too many questions. How'd they die? Are they okay? Can we call the ambulance?
Let's go. I got the plan.
Kirsten.
You're asking questions.
And she, of
Asking
course.
questions.
I
know the spot
texting
already.
you and you're going,
I'd be a little too worried too.
Babe, should we call the authorities? What happened? Well, did you talk to her first? Why'd you stab him?
Is that what I sound like?
Girl, let's go.
Kirsten, 100%.
Did you touch anything?
Right. Here's
you know what?
I'm already there. Girl, that civil right is kicking in.
That's the first question.
okay, question number 2. Who would you text if you needed help to draft a risky text or DM?
Oh.
Myself.
I would text you, Dad.
Yourself. So you're ready
Girl,
to...
the amount of text that we have edited of yours?
You would make me, you said risky test. Risky in like a what way?
the same way that you would imagine.
Risky or risque?
Sexually
oh,
or
nice.
risque? Is there a risque?
Do we want to go on a date with the risque DM?
It's
I got you.
Risky you.
It's risky,
you,
and then you have
risque,
a
I
glass
got
of
you.
wine,
Yeah.
and it becomes risky.
Wait, when you say risky text, I mean like you got to be real forward and direct and let this person know.
Yeah.
Or are we saying risque?
That one.
Kirsten Ferguson.
That one.
Kirsten for risque.
Risque.
You do pretty.
So hang on a minute.
I'm
Good
a
at-
good bounce off.
Yeah, you're a good bounce. Yeah.
Yes.
You
are.
are going to help with the risque text and then
I
dispose of
wrote
the
your
dead
text
body
this
afterwards.
weekend.
Okay.
'Cause you did
are-
it.
You,
Did it.
She should be the answer.
You're the reason we
Kirsten,
went
so
out.
far, you are winning this game.
Oh, there's a winner?
The next question is, who would you text to tell you if you should or shouldn't buy a bag that you've seen?
These two together.
Oh.
These two together, I would text. I think we have that text chain.
It depends,
Any of
John.
us.
Do I really want to buy the bag or do I want somebody to talk me out of buying the bag?
Good answer.
question.
Give the answer for both.
Here's the answer.
If I want to be talked into buying anything, Katie will say yes before Kirsten. Kirsten says yes a lot. She says yes always.
But I'll make you feel good about your yes.
Yes.
I will help you feel comfortable with your yes.
Kirsten will say, child, you don't need that.
I like that. That's
that's true.
interesting.
It's the mom in me.
Say Says the biggest spender at the table.
know.
Says the biggest spender at the table.
I feel called out.
But that's all you need.
Have you seen the bag
both.
closet?
You need both.
Should we go shopping after this?
Yes! Which genuinely my favorite thing.
Who would you text if you want to go shopping? Me.
They're gonna show clips of
Watch
before
out,
the
we
wine,
will.
and then clips after the wine.
And John's stance.
Yeah. Okay. Who would you text to tell you the truth about a potential partner?
Ooh.
So who are you texting
You.
for honesty?
Not me.
No, you're like, go and buy the bag,
Don't
and
text
he's
me.
great.
Yeah,
Text you.
I would text you.
Because you have.
Yeah. You have.
But with grace.
Only.
Good and bad.
In
Good
my,
and bad.
in my experience,
bad.
only when you've been through something tough or difficult with a partner in a relationship do you look back and you go, thank goodness for that friend who
Talk me out of
that
responding
either
to
taught me out of it or I needed that person around me a bit more when I made those mistakes in the
Yeah.
past.
Or to also tell you when something's great and you need to see that this relationship is great, babe.
Right.
This is great.
Yeah.
What are we looking for here?
Tunde both times.
Yep. That's a no-brainer.
Wow. Okay.
As I have.
You're screwed. You have no
And
one to text.
somehow I'm single. America!
America.
Screw America, the world.
We're having a glass of wine.
Run
We're
it.
going down the lens and we're going, America.
Paraguay! Portugal!
Stop it. You need somebody here. We've already talked about this.
Who would you text if you were arrested?
Oh,
Myself. I'll bail you out.
Adele.
Oh, Adele.
Her assistant. Who would I text?
Either of you.
Yeah, I'd be fine texting either of you.
I'm gonna say either of you because both of you will answer. You're really good at answering. I feel like you would like somehow manipulate, like you'd get your dad to like, your dad knows somebody.
What are we,
Yeah.
I was going
I
to say,
know a
what are we
lawyer
hoping
and I
for
got the
from the
bail.
text here?
Yeah,
You've been arrested. What are we trying to get
How
out
much
of
is
the
the bail?
text?
Both of you, yeah. Both
And
of
you guys will calm me down, which would help.
Yeah.
You'd be like,
be
it's
fine.
okay, like,
Yeah.
I won't tell you.
I know all of your people.
I really like the idea
We'll
of
call the
like,
PR people. We'll
I've been
have it covered.
arrested.
Yeah.
I've been arrested. Yeah. I told you not to buy that bag, and I don't like that guy.
No, literally.
2 questions
Okay.
to ask you from members. I feel, do you know what's
member
really great?
questions.
Since we've been drinking wine, we've all been getting closer to one another. A little bit tiring. Right. 2 questions from members.
Yeah.
What's
Was the voice practice? Like,
Sorry. We're serious.
2 questions from members. First question.
Oh.
What's the funniest rumor or misconception that you've heard about yourself?
Who wants to go first?
Yeah.
Me? Oh my gosh, once I was in a relationship with Cody Rigsby.
Oh, yeah.
I've been in a relationship with many of the members of the team, actually.
Me too, actually.
My birthday party was actually secretly a wedding.
oh, that
Oh,
was
that
good.
one. I got that question.
That's incredible, really, that last one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think she got married there.
I got married. To Katie.
Yeah.
Also, what am I missing? Come on.
Someone thought I was like a backup dancer for like, that sentence alone, it can end right there, but LOL, I was not a backup dancer for
Anybody. Me.
These hips? No.
They got
To
backed
be
up.
fair, is it not a compliment? You showed a bit of rhythm, you showed a bit of something, and someone went, dance.
I don't know where they saw me showing a bit of rhythm. That's the question. Maybe they confused me with someone else.
Oh, I've ever seen you dance. Oh, your wedding.
I'll club.
You danced at your wedding.
Oh, how nice.
You did. That was nice of you.
And also, like, your birthday party.
Yeah, no.
Straight
Did you
dancing
dance?
everywhere.
The
Yeah,
whole night?
yeah.
God, that
Please.
was so much fun.
Yeah.
Biggest
What's the
misconception or a lie about you? You were dating Adrian.
Oh, they definitely
They
fully
definitely
posted a picture of my boyfriend, and they're like, "Are you dating Adrian?" I'm like,
Huh?
"No."
Fan fiction. What about you?
And,
what about
Someone
you?
also thought I was in a relationship with a female instructor.
Me?
Oh, I remember that.
Remember that?
I thought so too, though, babe. Jess King put it in my ear. Jess King was like, they're dating. Jess King was like, they're dating, and I was like, no. And then it wasn't even the relationship. I was just hurt that, one, that y'all didn't tell me. And then we weren't in together. Why didn't either of them like me?
Yeah, that definitely happened.
Oh my
a lot of people thought we were together.
It's kind of sus.
Listen,
I gained 5 pounds once. Rather, I gained a little bit of weight once, which maybe was literally, I don't even think it was, maybe.
probably literally.
And I was pregnant with Alex Toussaint's baby.
Oh, wonderful. This just in. Cheers. I have the best baby gift.
I didn't know we were dating.
I didn't even know this.
Let alone having a baby.
I thought I was practicing celibacy.
Actually.
5 pounds, by the way.
Not even.
Probably
maybe.
drank 1 glass of water.
Maybe. I'd probably
someone
just
saw one.
bloated. I was bloated. And this was all over the video. I have the video on Instagram. And all the comments of me being pregnant, and then Alex was the father. And also, wow, that really hurt my feelings.
You guys, we can see the comment.
We can see
Don't they know that we can see
I
the
can
comments?
read what you're saying about me.
Do you think we're not human? Like, that hurts.
And then the next post, you're like, I love you so much. You do?
You do? You just said it was that.
Next picture there. What a good time. Yeah.
As we're drinking
Okay, a few
wine.
more.
Okay.
I love these.
So, great question that I enjoyed. If you could swap places and be any other instructor for a day, who would you choose and why? Not on this table.
You.
Not
on the stage.
Not at the stage.
It would be so awesome.
Can I tell you? I have two. I know mine. I have 2. And I actually took
we
back what I
guess?
said. Sure.
You have the hots for Cody, so maybe Cody.
Oh, no, oh my God, are you revealing that?
That sounds like girl code today.
He's my crush.
No,
you can keep it.
He knows.
You can keep it. He knows.
Cody's your crush.
No, I would love to swap with Rebecca or Andy. I just would love to be in their brain.
Great
And
answer.
you know what's great is if I got to swap for Andy, I would get to be married to Rebecca for a little.
Great
That's nice.
answer.
I just
That's
I
nice.
would love that. I
That's
would love
nice.
to, and just to get save a little of how they program and save a little, and just
Really
to be
good.
able
I would
to
take
dance
all
like
the
Rebecca
strength
for a
programs
minute.
that
I really
Andy
like
said.
You get dance cardio,
Yes.
you get strength, you
Yes.
get tread, and not just that, you get a live link to their bird bath that they've got in their house. The other morning, she planted it on the mirror, and as she was getting ready for class, doing some dance cardio, sorting her hair out, she was checking on the birds,
Exactly.
visiting the bird bath at their house.
Exactly.
And I thought to myself,
Exactly.
this is
Good night.
inner peace. This is what inner peace looks like right
Exactly.
here, right now. She found
night.
it.
You're not beating
She
that
found it.
answer.
Yeah.
Listen, I think I got a close second. To wake up and be as beautiful as Leanne would be like.
It's really not fair to humanity
I
how
love
gorgeous
it.
that
She's
woman
not going to
is.
be my answer, but to wake up and be as beautiful as Leanne.
Disney princess.
Disney
She's
princess.
literally her and Anna Greenberg.
Anna freaking
When I first
Greenberg.
looked at Anna and Aditi, I was like,
Gorgeous. To have this person's mindset every day and be as meticulous as them and as planned and as disciplined, I want to see what goes into their day. Alex freaking K.
hey.
Whoa!
He's not
my
all this
answer at
earth.
all.
I don't know if I want to stay there.
No, I love him.
Yeah, you
know I
get
love
one
him.
day.
I want
You
to
get
see
24 hours.
one
That was
day
not what I was expecting at all. But
how
LOL.
meticulous that life is.
Can I throw one in really fast,
don't
Camila,
even
so I could
have
speak
one.
Spanish?
No.
And teach a class in Spanish. I feel like it would be so much fun.
I knew that we were going to have a fabulous time together, but never in my wildest dreams did I anticipate that it was going to be this incredible. Thank you so much for joining us. We've had a lovely time
The best.
at the next table with these beautiful girls. Take good care of yourself, and we'll all see you very soon.
Cheers! Cheers!
Love you guys.
Love you guys.
too.
Eye contact.
Love you.
Eye contact.
Love you all. Dream girls.
Dream girls.
Cul-de-sac.